Being a wisdom keeper, there's not very many of us on the planet right now. And I am the blondest, whitest, youngest wisdom keeper out of the whole group. And sometimes that's a bit rough to deal with because, like all of you know, if you come to see little grandmother, you're not expecting this. And so it does make me nervous. And some of the other films that I've done, you get the comments of, why weren't you in full regalia and things like that. I could very much be sitting here in full regalia, but this is me. And so I'm here to share my message with you, just being who I am, part of you, just like you are you, I am me, and I'm not here for some big show. I'm simply here to share from my heart of the information I've received over the last year. As wisdom keepers, we have made an oath to share no matter how hard it is to share. And some things are difficult for me to talk about because although I believe them full-heartedly, I would never question any information I got. It's sometimes difficult for others to hear, but I'm going to share exactly as I have received, and knowing that what has come is for the people of this planet, of this Mother Earth, at this time right now, and it's being asked to be shared. Everyone is supposed to be hearing these messages now. And all across the globe, the wisdom keepers are all talking about the same things. And so now it is time for us to hear the wisdom of the grandfathers, the grandmothers, and those on the other side, who we have been taught to listen to and to trust with our entire lives. And so I would like to start by talking about, not jumping right into 2010, but I would like to talk about first a little recall of what's happened in the last couple of years. And so we have kind of a format to follow here. 2 years ago, in about 2008, the wisdom keepers were gathered for a meeting. And it was at that time that we were asked to share with the people, for the people of all nations, all colors, all indigenous tribes and non-indigenous tribes, to understand the importance of our ancestors, of the ancient ways. And so this is what we talked about for a full year. Please remember your ancient cultures. Remember what the ancient people talked about. Remember your ancestors. Remember those ways. Remember the wisdom that they kept. And for a full year, that is all we talked about. And then that led into the return of the Ancestors Gathering, which was a large ceremony that a few of you were attending at that time. If you think back about it, you can actually see a large change even here in Santa Fe in the last couple of years. Think of some of the cultural differences, how people are actually listening to and understanding the ancient ways, the ancestors. And so this has really transpired and has really happened. On a global level, people are remembering those ancient truths that we once had and that they talked about. Then after that, we were asked as a collective whole of wisdom keepers to speak about remember who you are. And if you were here at the last taping or the last meeting that we've had, that was the main topic. So please remember who you are. And I would like to talk a little bit about that because most of you were not here. And in order to understand what is being asked of us in 2010, you must remember who you are. At that time I was asked to speak about this, and the best way to describe it is that a very long time ago, our ancient ancestors knew many, many truths about how to live on this planet, conduct ourselves with one another, how to remember, how to listen to higher self, how to get correct answers for one another and for yourself. And somewhere along that line, we forgot who we were. We split off into different religious groups. We split off into different groups and we hated one another. We went to war with one another. We did all manner of pretty terrible things because we lost the ancient truths. And so for a moment, I would ask you to do something. Set aside, and I respect all religions, please don't get me wrong. But for one moment, set aside religion. Set aside man-made organizations. Set aside rules and regulations. Set aside right and wrong and believing you can earn your way into heaven and that there's something out there that you have to live up to in order to live in heaven. I would ask you just for a moment, if you could, set that down. And now for a moment, I want you to think about what it would be like, what it is like, to understand you are God. There is not something else ruling your life. You are ruling your life. There is no one else to live up to. You are God and you are Goddess. You are the great I am. Every single one of you is the great I am. I am the great I am. I am God and Goddess. I am a creator. So are every single one of you. Religion is man-made. That is scary to say, especially on camera, because for most of my life I belonged to a very strict religion. But I say to you now, with all of my knowing and every bit of my being, religion is man-made. Something separated us from the great I am. Something separated us from our true knowing. And we are asking you as wisdom keepers all over this planet to remember you are God. You are Goddess. You are the Creator. You are the great I am. You are not separate from Tokashila. You are Tokashila. You are God. If you can really understand that, if you really get that, you came from something much vaster, much larger than many of us remember. It was something enormous that we came from, where all things exist, where all things are perfect and beautiful. And our great I am sent a little spark of us here to a planet which is just not a rock orbiting in this system, but is something more sacred than almost any of us can fathom. This beautiful Mother Earth is exactly as I say. She is our mother. She is sacred goddess, and she is revered and loved not just by humankind, but by many, by everyone that is out in the great everything. And so if you really think about that, if there are many, many, many beings all over, and they all revere our Mother Earth as something sacred, how privileged we are to be here. We're here. Not everybody gets to come. Not everybody gets to come to this planet. And not only are we here, but we are here right now. When Mother Earth becomes her own beautiful, immaculate goddess that comes into her own changing. And we're going to see that happen when this planet becomes her own heaven, when she comes into her full glory. That is happening now. It's going to happen in your lifetime, and it's already on its way. Now, do you think by any great chance that we are just here? If something so sacred and so brilliant is changing into our most brilliant way of being, how blessed of a chance that we are here, you are here, I am here. It is because we are the strongest of the strong. Throughout your lineage of ancestors, it was you who got to be here right now. You were the one chosen to be here right now. Not somebody else, not those that came before, but you. In a pivotal time on this planet where we as human beings were born into a way of thinking instead of feeling. We were all born into this society knowing, and we were taught right from wrong. We were taught what to do, what not to do. We were taught how to think our way through. And that's not how it's supposed to be. A very, very, very long time ago, before organized religion, we were taught by ancient truths, and I will get into where that came from in a moment, but we were taught to live from our hearts and not our minds. And yet this is what we've been doing for millennia now. It's living from our heads. And we were taught that since birth. How to think out everything, how to base all decisions by the mind. And now we have to change it. We, the people in this room, the people out there, all of us that are here on this planet. Now you know you must be the strongest of the strong. No one else could do it. No one else could come here and switch the universal way of thinking and being if you were not the strongest of the strong. But your great I-ams are very, very powerful. And if you truly are God and Goddess, you can create anything. The one thing that stops you from creating what you wish to create is your limit of thinking. We must get out of our heads, remember who you are, and start to create. What limits are there to God and Goddess? There are none. No limits. The only limits happening for us are those that we put upon ourselves. We see this world, this dream that is happening, and we think we have to obey exactly how it's going. The truth is, we're going to change it. The truth is, we're being asked to change it right now. The truth is, for several hundreds of years, the wisdom keepers have been here. And then when they pass, another one becomes the wisdom keeper to keep the prophecies going. But the prophecies have every single one of them come true but one. There is a list of prophecies that you will find all over the planet from the ancient wisdom keepers. Every single one of them have happened exactly as they said. There's only one left. The only one left is that the light beings, our teachers, those who are higher than us, will return here. And we will know this. This sounds a little phenomenal, I guess, to say light beings are out there. But how crazy of an idea is it? You don't have to be a wisdom keeper to understand we are not alone. It is an actual fact. And there is intelligence out there much vaster and much higher than ourselves. And they come from everything good and beautiful and light and love. And they love us. They love us as their own children. They have been here for a very long time, since the beginning. And with them they brought truth. They brought with them a way for us to live and to be happy. And they taught us that we are the great I Am. They taught us that we are God and Goddess. And we remembered who we were. And over a period of time, we forgot. And down the spiral we went. Some stayed. And as wisdom keepers, we know some of the areas in which they have stayed, which makes the government very uncomfortable. The reason they stayed to keep us from destroying everything. But I want to tell you now that last year I was sitting here saying, this is going to happen. Today I sit here and say, it is happening. It is happening right now. And within this year, it will be global knowledge that it is happening. Within the year, it will be common knowledge and proven to you. It is an absolute truth. 2010 will be the most extraordinary year ever to have happened on our planet. You will see things that you could not possibly imagine. And I'm going to be very happy to share with you several of these things. It is not easy to be a wisdom keeper because you have to say things like this to people and just pray that they're going to believe you, because otherwise they're going to put you in a home somewhere. But I do find courage in knowing that the other wisdom keepers and I can talk together and give each other courage and say it's going to be okay. I carry the wisdom for 9 pipes. He was a wisdom keeper that lived many hundreds of years, a couple hundred years ago. I am of the lineage of Spotted Owl. I am Chikala Uchi. I am a little grandmother. I am great-granddaughter of Chikala Lota and Chikala Jensen. I am daughter of Tintanchala and Father Mato. And I am proud to sit here today and say that I am a wisdom keeper, and that sometimes I'm able to swallow my fear so that I could do things like this. So if we understand that first the wisdom keepers were asked in 2008 to understand that our ancestors had ancient truths, that they were all once here. And then we were asked to please understand and remember who you are, that you are the great I am. You are Tokajila. You are love and light and everything that is possible. 2010 has brought a new calling for us to talk about. So I say to you now that what we are asked to talk to you about is for that, yes, now you remember who you are. And if you don't, get on it. It is past time. But now that you know you are God and Goddess, unify ourselves and create the world you wish to live in. This is the overriding message of the year, and this is what we will be talking about all over every nation, over 143 countries, and over 8 billion people. We will be teaching and saying this everywhere and to everyone. Remember who you are. Now, create knowing that thought, your thoughts, your dreams, your daydreams, your wishes, your wants, the goodness in you can bring forth and manifest. You are your own creator. You are God and Goddess. Start creating. Set the mind down. Think of what you want and make it happen. You will see that you can bring into your reality all that you wish to create this year. It is going to happen, and I will explain how. Many of the wisdom keepers see things in a very unique way. I like to call it my picture show. If any of you know me well, I call it my picture show. I see something happen. I can connect in to other wisdom keepers. It looks like a large TV screen, something maybe like this. Images start to happen. We can see each other, the other wisdom keepers. I don't know how to explain it. I don't have the words. But I know that I was taught a very specific lesson on how this unification is going to happen, and so I want to share this with you so that you can understand it as well. We've all been fishing, so if you can imagine those little red and white bobbers that float on top of the water, and if you catch a fish, it bobs on down. Half's red, half's white. You know what I'm talking about. So there it sits. And this is our consciousness. This is how we're thinking. The top half is white. And this is our universal consciousness right now on the planet. And this consciousness is from the mind. We think about everything. We think about what is wrong, and we think about what is right, and who is right and who is wrong, what religion's right and what religion's wrong, what race is right, what's not, who should be, going under and who should be on top. This is, it's madness how we operate on this planet. It is absolute madness. And so here we are, this bobber floating on the water. And right now, this bobber's starting to go like this. It's starting to flip over to that red side. And that red side is heart consciousness. And when you get enough people thinking or being and living from the same way, we all zap in. And right now I can tell you that there's a group of people, a few thousand, who are very dedicated to changing the consciousness. It is something happening on this planet right now, and that's something you can join in on and help change this consciousness. And as we start remembering that this brain is not what controls us, but it's our highest self, it is the reality of God and Goddess within us, and that we can create whatever we wish to see happen and change on this planet, the consciousness starts to grow in a whole different way. The more of us that join this consciousness of knowing that the heart and the knowing is what creates, the bigger and bigger that consciousness gets. And the bigger that consciousness gets, that little bobber is going to start to flip. And it's doing this right now. And in this year, it is said to us, as a whole, the wisdom keepers believe very strongly that it is within our ability and within our power, and that it is an absolute possibility, most likely by the end of this year, that bobber's going to flip. If enough of us get together and join this consciousness, it's going to flip. And when it does flip, everything changes. Everything. The way we view each other, the way we view reality, the way we view our capabilities or incapabilities. We have no incapabilities. You must believe, you must understand, you must remember you are God. Create whatever you would like to create. Stop limiting yourself. Stop letting others limit you. Stop taking what others say to you as reality. What others say to you have no weight if you are God and Goddess. Why wait for someone to tell you you are strong enough to do this or not strong enough to do this? The truth is you are God. Create your world. This is what we are begging for people to understand. Now that you know who you are, change it. Dream your dreams. They will come true. Stop waiting. There is no time to wait. This wisdom is not bought or sold. This wisdom must come forth now. We have no time to wait. You are here now. You were chosen to come, not somebody else. Because you are the strongest of the strong, because you can remember, because you will remember. And then you change the world. I will explain further down the road here as I talk exactly how to do that. 2010, like I said, is going to be the most amazing year upon our planet that has ever been seen by humanity, and it's only going to increase as the years go on. But you will see things happen this year that you would never think possible. And I would like to share some of those with you. And sorry, I have to use notes. I can't remember. I could speak to the dead, but I can't remember my own notes. Sorry about that. We often kind of giggle back and forth, those of us who work together, the Wisdom Keepers. One, because we are just normal people. People, they think that we have to stay in this little bubble all the time, but, we crack jokes all the time, and most of them are at my expense because I am the whitest, youngest, blondest thing there, and I'm Native American somehow. So, if we think to ourselves, what is the most prehistoric, most ancient symbol in the entire world, and that is in every indigenous culture across the globe, what would that be? Absolutely. It is truly the most prehistoric symbol anywhere, ever. And in this prehistoric time, how did the whole world have the same symbol? They had no telephones, there was no mail, no email, but every single indigenous culture upon this planet has the spiral. And it is the most sacred of symbols to every indigenous culture upon this planet. We have the Celts and the Norse from the north. The meaning of their spiral is all universe. It means eternity, and it means goddess. We have the Romans and the Greeks. They believe the spiral is of the gods, the one, the oneness of the soul. The Aborigines use the spiral. They believe it means all things that are glorious. The Islamic people use the spiral for holy things that cannot be written. They do not write the words of gods and goddess. They use the spiral because it is holy. The African cultures use the spiral as the womb of the Great Mother and Goddess. The Orient spiral means the beginning of all life, where the gods come from. In India, they actually believe that it means the one, female sexuality. And in their spiral, you can actually find the Fibonacci sequence. The Native Americans use the spiral, meaning it is all energy, all consciousness, great spirit. The Hopi use the spiral, meaning the sacred ones, all living things, the journey of everything living. The Mayan use the spiral. Their belief the spiral shows the seasons, the solstice, the circle of life, all life. The Polynesians, it means immortality. So why did they have the spiral? They saw it. They saw the spiral. Nobody taught them about the spiral. Every culture on this planet, of all ancient beings, saw something exactly the same. They did not teach each other. They knew it themselves. How did they know it? They saw it. How many of you have seen the spiral? The whole world has seen the spiral. It is everywhere. You cannot miss it. It is everywhere. Have you seen the videos? Have you watched it happen? The ancestors have been telling the wisdom keepers, and we had a meeting about this several days before it happened. Grandfather told us it was on its way. And with it comes new energies and new life to this planet that has not been here for a very long time. These spirals have actually been happening all last year, but this is the largest, and it's opened something to our world that has not been here since the prehistoric times, since the time of these great indigenous peoples. And in that meeting, when we spoke about the spiral, Grandfather told us science will try to come up with a solution. They will try to tell the people what to believe, but they will not find a solution. And they will be without an answer. And millions will see it. And there is no way to cover up something this large. In the last year, none have been this big, but there have been several coming up to this spiral. Brazil, China, Tomsk, Russia, Canada, Moscow, Iran, Utah, Nebraska, Uzbekistan, Yosemite, Mexico, England. Those all happened in 2009. All the same spiral, all the same blue light in the sky. And now this year, in 2009, at the end of 2009, comes the largest of all. No, science cannot tell us what it is. But the ancient ones can. Our ancestors can. The wisdom keepers can. This time on our planet is something actually spectacular. We're the very last thing on the prophecy list to come before the change of all man, woman, child, and earth herself, so that the light beings will return. The great energies will return to our planet to help us remember who we are and to help us change from living from the mind into the heart. Although we are the strongest of the strong and we are gods and we are goddesses, someone has to help us awaken. And they love us so very much. If you think of how much you love your child, just think about that for a moment. How much these beings love us and want us to remember who we are and want us to remember how to create something much more fabulous than what we're living in this dream that we're going. It doesn't have to be this way. It can be so much more beautiful. And that is why they're returning. And I will tell you this, that in the year 2010, there will be discoveries made this year that will surpass even your highest expectations. We know for a fact that there is a place called Pumapunku. And in this place, these buildings are made more precisely than what we could do today with lasers or with diamonds. This city is made from stone that does not belong there, and is more precisely built than even what we could do today. Not only is this city made this way, and is still standing, you can see it with your own eyes, you can touch it with your own hands. Every line of every building matches exactly with this star pattern in the sky. There's a place called Dendura that was not built only by human hands. Modern light bulbs are found there that still work today. They're over 17,000 years old. Places in Greece will be found with ancient computers. Giza in Tikal. It will be proven without a shadow of a doubt with science itself that these cities match each other down to the most minute detail. The pyramids are placed exactly as clear across the globe. You look at Giza, you look at Tikal, and these buildings are exactly the same. Not only are these cities exactly the same, their triplet sister is on the moon. This will be a proven fact. Bolivia will also have many truths. Teotihuacan, a 17,000-year-old city, laid out exactly as the solar system is. This will be proven in fact. Israel, under the dome of the rock, lies instructions for the ways for human beings to live. It also contains information of ancient cities we know very little about. Ethiopia contains something almost more valuable than anything that is on this planet. And I have seen this with my own eyes. There, in a very small white church, made of stone with white stucco, it is only one room. A blind man keeps guard over a box. And when this blind man dies, another blind person is placed inside to keep care of this box. And inside this box are the ancient laws for humanity. Many religions believe it to be something called the Ark of the Covenant. It is very real, and it is sitting there today. Many of these truths will be pouring out, and as they pour out, life is going to change on this planet more rapidly than any of us could possibly imagine. You will start to remember, oh my gosh, we could do all these things back then, why can't we do them now? Simply because we've forgotten, and it's time to remember. Truths are coming to our planet to tell us, remember who you are, to prove to us you are capable of doing way more than you think possible, that you come from somewhere much larger than you think. Some other truths are going to be about people that we know the names of, but had no idea what they had accomplished in their lifetime. There is a man named Nikola Tesla. What he has accomplished and what he knows and what he has done with his life is far more than people let on to know. The government says, yes, he did, or no, he didn't. We have the power to change the weather. And this man knew the truth and how to do that. He's created something and knew something far vaster than the government has let on to. But the government will not be able to contain this much longer. Watch for Nikola Tesla. Learn about what he said he could do. It is an absolute fact. Isaac Newton is another person that people kind of overlooked when he started talking nonsense. It wasn't nonsense. It was so nonsensical at the time, people couldn't hardly, they just kind of dismissed it as nonsense, craziness. But I tell you now, as we learn more about these things and what people have accomplished and what's really real, and cover-ups are no longer covered, we will see that he knew something about distance, time, and space that science is only beginning to understand. Ancient cities are actually, if you look at time and space and angles, are placed exactly down to 1 degree of each other. This was no mistake. It was placed like that because our ancient intelligence and our ancient knowing helped build these cities. And in these cities are ancient truths, which will also be coming back. There are many more things that are going to happen in year 2010, and I want to share some of them that is it an overall consensus, I guess, from the wisdom keepers of what is going to happen. What I would like to say first and foremost is that the planet right now, the Earth, is fat and ripened and ready to give up all of its secrets. All of the secrets will be exposed. Government cover-ups will be exposed. Knowledge of UFOs and higher intelligence will be exposed. Healing possibilities are going to skyrocket. Psychic phenomena will be proven as a fact and accepted by science worldwide. New discoveries will lead to ways of knowing or helping our bodies in which bones can be strong, much stronger, and healed, and we will live an average life after this knowledge well past 90. Stem cell research will boost such an amazing scientific explosion of help and knowledge for the human body. Science itself will be left in awe. Filthy waters will be cleaned. Child labor will be completely exposed and destroyed. This year is the year, if you take nothing else away from this, know that this year is the year you are supposed to get it. You're supposed to get it. You're supposed to remember who you are, and when you do that, you get it. Everything's going to be uncovered. And when things become uncovered, you start realizing we've been living in a fog. And you realize that your capabilities and your capacities are much larger than what you thought. There is something else that many of us have discussed and something that we have seen with our own eyes. I will do my best to explain what it is I saw. There is a large tower made of pipe and wire, and on top of this, which looks like a very tall, thin pyramid, on top of it sits a large ball. And it is next to very cold, dark waters. It's not a lake, it's more like an ocean. And this machine is man-made. And it has been made. And it is very operational, functional, and it contains the ability to produce enough energy for the entire planet. It is functional right now. This will be coming out very quickly. There are amazing things happening on our planet that will solve many, many problems. Even for a moment, think of what we could do with this technology. If it's taken out of the hands of power and government and religion and placed in the hands of people who live from the heart, think of what we could create. I've thought a lot about how to speak of this because there is no reason for panic. There is no reason for worry. In order for something to go ahead and change, in order for there to be large change, there has to be some things fall down. If you think about what is wrong with our society right now, government and religion rule us. And there are a lot of truths out there that are being held from the public, from the people, and from with this kind of information we could do so much good. But these things are being held because of powerful governments and powerful companies and certain things like this. And so it has been being said from the beginning through prophecy and through teachings of the wisdom keepers that big government and big religion will fail. And any time that the Maya speak of prophecy as well, they talk about 2012. In order for this planet to become a beautiful, glorious state in which all of us, the children of this planet, to love one another and treat each other as brothers and sisters, and to truly treat each other with kindness and love in our hearts, we cannot be separated by governments and religion. It is a very sad thing to me that there has been more killings and more deaths in the name of God than anything, ever. And once you realize that your religion is not right or wrong, and somebody else's is not right or wrong, but that you all are right, just the way you are, that you are each sparks of God and Goddess, that you are Great Spirit, that you are Tokashla, then there is no need to kill someone else over your beliefs. And there is no need to believe that someone else is wrong. Their race is wrong, their religion is wrong, their way of being is wrong. How could you possibly be wrong if you are the great I am? How could I possibly be wrong if I am the great I am? We each are living this journey, trying to learn and experience as much as we possibly can. And so before this earth becomes a glorious place where each of us are brothers and sisters and see each other with full hearts and love one another, no matter what color you are, no matter where you come from, religion and government cannot rule. What is the biggest government on this planet? What is the biggest power on this planet? It's us. It's the United States of America. We have ruled the world a bit too long. We have become a little bit too powerful. And I'm not saying that some tyrant's going to come in and we're going to fall under some awful regime or anything like this. But I will say, America will not be so powerful. Some of the wind is going to get taken out of our sails. And it's going to be the most beautiful blessing any of us have seen. This should not sound scary. You should not worry. Because in order for great, beautiful change must come change. The thing that worries us probably is because we don't understand it. We haven't seen it before. So the thought of maybe Europe owning part of America or China owning part of America might sound a little scary because we don't know what that might be like. But it's not going to be so scary. It's going to be all right. Because big power has to stop. And we are the biggest. What else is there on this planet that rules the human being? How about money? Big business, big money, big power. There are three things that rule our lives that must crack and start to fail. The wind must come out of the sails. That is government, that is money, and that is religion. These three things you will start to see having huge differences in the next year. And when one fails, the others will follow. Again, I say this will not be scary. And the grandfathers are saying, don't be afraid, because it's not going to be chaos in the streets. It's not going to be riots. It's not going to be these kinds of things. It's not going to be awful war in some country coming in. The way it most likely will happen, and I say most likely because no one knows the future for certain. Not even Elohim can say what will happen for certain because we each have free will and choice. And every day we think thoughts and every day we take actions that leads to the world looking a certain way. So not even I can say for a fact tomorrow this is going to happen, but I tell you it is the consensus. That it's not war that's going to destroy America, but our economy is failing. And we owe more money to other countries than we can make up for. And when our dollar fails, other parts of the world will own America. I'm not saying they're coming in with guns and rifles. I'm not saying we're going to war. I'm saying it's just going to happen. And it's not going to be scary. It's going to be all right. And when big power and big money fail, what else fails? What else on this planet has more power and more money than even Wall Street?
Religion.
How about religion? If one fails, all three fail. And again, I say it's not going to be this scary, screaming down the road, fighting for what you can fight for. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about things breaking down in order for us to build them back up in a glorious manner. In a way that big cities will start to see people pull out and make beautiful communities in which they can sustain themselves, in which there are large gardens grown where you can get your own food, healthy animals to provide healthy food. Huge corporation and mass slaughter is no longer going to be part of our society. We become healthy. We become caring for one another. Big power, big religion, and big money is going to fail. And when that fails, the spirit will rule. The heart will rule. What's scary about that? The only thing scary about these things is because we don't know them. We don't know how it's going to work. We don't know step by step. We don't know the future, and we've never seen it before as Americans. So yeah, it kind of seems a little scary, but it's not. It's all happening in a perfect cycle so that when Mother Earth is ready to be reborn into her glorious, beautiful, heavenly self, and we rise with her, she'll be ready. We'll be ready. We cannot go into a higher consciousness and live from a higher consciousness and be something much more enlightened than we are by still eating dead food every day, by having more and watching others have less, or having nothing and others have more. How can you become enlightened and operate on a God level, a greater self level, by doing what we're doing? We can't. And so, it is us who are going to start to rock that little bulb sitting on the water. And as we rock it and we become more and more unified in our hearts, that bulb's going to flip. And when it flips, everything's going to start to fall into place. When everything starts to fall into place, and you already know who you are and what you're capable of, then you start thinking about what you want, you start dreaming your dreams, and then you start creating. And then therefore you are the creator of your world. This is what the grandfathers and the ancestors, they feel like shaking us. Wake up. Why can't you figure out who you are? You don't like the way you're living, create a different one. Do it. And as a whole, as we start to flip that bulb around, and as we join together, we actually start creating a new world. And there are several things we can do to join this group of people. There are about 32,000 or a little more actually physically completely working on growing this consciousness larger. And it is growing every day in leaps and bounds. And every single one of you here can join. It's nothing you got to sign up for. Nothing you got to pay some money to do. You just got to live that way. If you can't commit to it, don't commit to it. But I will ask you, if you can, don't fall back. If you hear something negative on the news, change the channel. If you are reading the newspaper and there is something not positive there, change the channel. As grandfather says, change the channel, change the channel, change the channel. If you are sitting next to somebody in a restaurant who is speaking illy of others, or is causing feelings other than calm and peace, change the channel. If someone in your home is speaking ill of someone else, or speaking not from the heart, don't be afraid to ask them to change the channel. This is only one way out of many you can actually flip that bulb. Simply by shutting off what we are used to, agreeing to on an everyday basis, and stopping it. If you hear negativity, stop listening. If you see negativity, shut your eyes. I am not saying ignore the world's problems. I'm saying stop giving your energy to it. As you give your energy to something that is not right and not good, it becomes more not right and not good. You cannot wish for something better but give your energy to something that just is the way it is. You can't expect it to change if you go along with it. And at each morning and each night you look at the day and say, everything is good and beautiful. And I am God and Goddess, and I am a creator. And I can change my world. Your energy vibration rises sky high. And every time you read something negative in the newspaper, your energy plummets. But I tell you right now, if every one of us in this room agrees to this contract, that we will not listen to negativity, but that we will charge ourselves and be responsible for ourselves in love and light, the bulb's going to start changing even more. And you can actually become part of the solution. You can change the world. The grandfathers were not making it up when they say, you are the very ones you have been waiting for. The grandfathers don't just pull things out of the hat. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones that will change the world. Not somebody else, not before us, not after us. I tell you right now, there is no Savior to come and save us. There is no one who will come and change this planet. We will. So I ask you, as my brothers and sisters of people of my heart, people of the tribe of many colors, will you join the cause? Will you stop listening to negativity? Will you join living from the heart and not the mind? It is simply as simple as shutting off and changing the channel. Will you change the channel? Then we change the world. Yeah. That's worth life all by itself. That is worth coming here. Earth life is not easy. There are many places we can go to learn and to grow our souls, and the earth is one of the very last on the list because it's the very hardest. We have a veil over us that does not let us remember exactly who we are. And then we were born into a society that taught you how to think your way through life, which was wrong. But that's why we are here and no one else is. Because the strongest of the strongest have been placed on this planet. Because we can make a difference and we can change it. Because we have the ability to change it. Because we can remember who we are. And we're going to have help. And help has been on its way the last couple of years, and now it's flooding through. And like the grandfathers say, the light beings are returning, and they're bringing their families. Everybody's coming. So this is just some information, a lot to digest. But this is some information that will be happening in the year 2012. And so here's a whole bunch of information we just got given. So you ask yourself, what do we do with it now? What are we supposed to do? How can we change it? Yes, we're going to change the channel of something negative. But there's something that I would like to share with you that's very important. I would say more important than sitting here telling you that, yes, the world is going to change in this way, and this way, and this way. And this is where light beings are, and all of these things. There's something even more important, and that is how to change your life. How do you get exactly what you're dreaming about? How do you bring into reality the changes you want for yourself? This is a very big deal. And I will continue to speak about this for the next few years. It's in a literal way of changing your life. It would be easy for me just to give you all this information and say, see ya. But it's also easy to get all this information and then think that you have nothing, no responsibility. But we each have responsibility. And it's not hard. The key is that all the answers are right here. We just forgot how to look at them. Everything's very easy. Truth is always easy. It's the man-made rules that are so hard to follow. These are actual steps on how to help enlighten yourself, how to remember who you are, and how to live in a way that we once knew how to live. The first step to achieving the higher consciousness that the grandfathers have been talking about all of this time, towards 2012, we will raise our consciousness, we will become more enlightened, we will become better beings. It begins today. It begins the day the world changed into 2010. It starts. And so this is very important. The first thing that you must understand, the knowing that there is a bigger, higher knowing than ourselves. Things are not happening by chance. We choose to come here with a purpose. We are part of the big plan, the universal being. You must realize that there is more to life than just this. That we belong to something enormous. We belong to the universe, which belongs to the great I Am, which belongs to love and light, which is everything. We are bigger than you think. The second thing you must understand is history is not the evolution of technology and production. It is the evolution of thought. We think some things are right and wrong. We think this is the way it's supposed to be. We see things very black and white. You know how you're supposed to act and how to behave and how not to behave. We think, we think, we think. And at one point on this planet, we thought that all that existed and all that was beloved was Mother Earth. And so that's how we reacted. That's how we lived. And then at one point on this planet, there became the church, Christianity. And I am not saying Christianity is bad or any church is bad. I love Christ and all the rest of them. But at that point in time, in our history in the Dark Ages, we thought the church ruled our lives. There was no government, there was church. There was religion. And so we thought only what that religion taught us. There was no technology, there was no advances in human society. It was literally the Dark Ages. Because we thought the way we thought. We forgot that we are creators. We forgot that we are the great I Am. So as you think a certain way, you act a certain way. And when that fell through, we started to remember and we thought we could start creating things. And technology took off. We started creating cities, governments, all these things. But we didn't think about the heart. We were just thinking about thinking. And this was our reality. And now we're shifting again in human consciousness. Our thinking is going towards, oh yeah, there's more than just thinking. Technology is not all it's, cracked up to be. It's glorious, but there's more. And the more is that you are something more, that you are the creator, that you are the great I Am, and that there is a God and goddess. And so history is not the evolution of technology and production. It is the evolution of thought. In this very room right now, as we think to ourselves that the universe is part of us and we are a part of the universe. As we think of that consciousness bulb flipping over, then here it comes. The more energy you give to it, the faster the more quickly it comes. So thought is a very big thing. I'm not saying use your brain for everything, but you use your brain to connect to your heart. You think about what you want, and then it arrives. Number 3, a new understanding of our physical world. All things are alive with energy. Seeing energy, sensing beauty. This is huge. Sunset and sunrise are the very best times to see energy. You can see energy around plants. This is not so hard to understand because even now those who do not automatically understand that all things have energy and that the plants have energy and the trees have energy and you and I have energy, it's scientifically documented, so yes, it is understood that all things have energy. But the next step is the most important. The most important of, I think, of all the steps. And that is that this energy is what's keeping us alive. It's not the energy give and take between human beings. We are using our energies wrong. And we are being asked to use our energies correctly again. We learn to take and give energy from plants, from the mountains, from the trees, from the rivers and the oceans, and each other. We can fill ourselves with energy from Mother Earth and not take from one another. We share the energy with Mother Earth, with joy, with love and purity. So all of this time, think about what we do to each other. When you're having a conversation, right now I am giving a lot of energy, and you are giving me a lot of energy. But how many conversations, you can think about just about every conversation you have. There's somebody that rules the conversation. And there's someone that gives away all their energy. Are you a giver? Are you a taker? We live our lives by people's understandings or projections of us. If you were to tell me, well, you're doing a really awful job right now, you look really silly, I could take that in, and I could let that damage my energy, or I could just know that I don't get my energy from you anymore. I get it from this plant right here. I get it from the sky. I get it from the earth. No longer are we captive by other people's thoughts of us. Every conversation, and as soon as you understand this, you stop yourself. When you're having a conversation with your friends, are you constantly butting in to know more or to sound smarter or to rule the conversation? Or are you one of those kind of people that just give all your energy and let somebody else take all the energy? For centuries now, we have been living on the give and take of each other's energy. And this is a huge failure on our planet, on ourselves. What we are being told is all of the energy for all life inside of each and every one of you exists on the planet, not in each other. You can literally go outside and breathe in the energy from a tree until you are full. From the ground or from a blade of grass, from an acorn or an apple. The plants, the animals, the rivers, the streams, the mountains have the energy for you. We are being asked to stop taking and giving our energies away from each other. We are only hurting one another, and we have been for hundreds and hundreds of years. Your life energy exists outside. If you feel weak, don't attack someone else to feel better about yourself. Or if someone says negative things to you, then don't feel worse about yourself. How silly that you just give your energy away like that. Why is it that when you go for a walk out in nature, you feel so good? Because nobody's labeling you. It's not because you really believe things about yourself. You're just out there filling up with energy. And then you come home and all of a sudden it's gone just like that. And why is that? Because of the interaction with other people. We are taking all the time. We must stop taking and giving to live from each other. All energy necessary is outside. You can literally sit outside and feel yourself fill up. Pay attention. Start paying attention. Why does it feel so good to be outside? Because you're plugging yourself in. It's a battery. It is your life. Mother Earth is everything. She is everything. The best times to literally see energy, and every single human being can see energy. Stop telling yourself, I can't. Because you can. It's real. Sunset and sunrise are the very, very best times to see energy around the plants, around the mountains, around anything. Start looking. It will look like a pink haze. It's life energy. The highest point on our planet that you can receive energy is on top of a mountain. It is just fact. That and sacred spots, of course. But you literally can fill yourself up with life from the outdoors, no longer the human being. We stop hurting each other. We stop dominating conversations. We stop taking. We stop hurting each other. Because everything you need is right outside. Not taking from people, we stop fighting to be heard or be in charge. We do not feed off of their opinions of ourselves or our standing with them. We fill ourselves with earth energy, breathing it in and giving our energy back to Mother Earth. No longer do other people's personas of you matter. Your standing does not matter. I don't care how professional you are. I don't care what job you have. I don't care if you're an author and you make millions. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom. It's the energy that matters, not the persona of who you are. This is nonsense. We are all equal. Every single one of us in this room are equal. If we start filling up with energy outside and not needing that give and take from others, I do not need you to see me as a wisdom keeper, as a professional sitting up here talking to you. I don't need that. I'm just me. Just like every single one of you are just you. And together we are glorious. Personas no longer matter. The only reason they matter is because you're filling up and wanting other people's energy. You want to be bigger than them, higher than them, but that's nonsense. Go outside, take a deep breath. You'll be filled up faster than taking from another human being. What do you stand for? Who do you want to be? Why are you here? If you now know you are the great I am, you are God and Goddess, and you are all things, including the universe, and there is enough energy here for every single human being on this planet, and we don't have to give and take it from each other, and there is always enough, and every single one of us are beautiful and perfect and glorious, and we're each God. And you chose to come here. You chose to come here, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Your highest self decided to send you here, and here you are. So why do you want to be here? This is not about going to sleep at night and getting up in the morning, going to work and coming back home. Why are you here? Make a decision. What do you want to be here for? What is your purpose here? Ask yourself that, and then really, really answer it. And only then will you know how to create it. Why are you here? Why did you send yourself here? Why do you want to be here? What do you want to do with your life? You have all of the energy in the world to support you. It's all out there for you. It's not people that make you or break you. It is yourself. People cannot take and take until it gives you the sense of, oh, I failed because that didn't work out, because someone didn't let me. That's nonsense. You are God and Goddess. You have all the energy in the world to support you. You are a creator because you are the creator. And what do you want out of this life? Make your decision and watch it come forth. Dreams are not just dreams. They come from highest self. You can be sitting here and then have a really something pop into your mind that's from higher self. Start paying attention. This is important. Certain things will jump out at us. Our dreams, our thoughts, our daydreams often are guides or guidance in our life experience. We should stop and recognize what our higher selves are showing and telling us. Ask yourself the right questions, and it will always lead to the right answers. Answers are given through dreams, coincidences, daydreams, thoughts that pop into the mind. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your daydreams. Pay attention to what pops into your head. Listen to your higher self. It is not when you're thinking, oh, my higher self, come on, give me something, that it happens. It doesn't work like that. That's all mind. Every bit of that is mind. You're thinking too hard. When you stop thinking so hard, and all of a sudden you've got these images going on, that's coming from somewhere else. Pay attention to that state. It's very, very important. It's when the mind stops and checks out a bit that you start receiving some real information. Pay attention. If you want what you want out of life, start asking the right questions so that you can therefore get the right answers. If you failed at something you love, why did you fail at it? Did you give your energy away? Did you let somebody else tell you that you failed? Ask the right questions and you will always get the right answers. Listen to others for answers. The great I Am uses others to come into our lives to further our knowledge of ourselves and our situations. And I'm not talking about listen to criticism, listen to things or ideas that people place on you or status or anything like that. If you ask the right questions, the right answers will come. So if I'm continually thinking about something that I really want to create in my life, and I can't figure out why I've not created it yet, and I come into Santa Fe Soul and I'm like, hey, Kim, and she decides to just say something off the handle, and all of a sudden, boom, there's the answer. That's what I'm talking about. Our great I Ams are working, corresponding with one another. Pay attention to what others are saying. After you ask the right questions, the right answers will come. And number 8 is the most important. Do not become addicted to other human beings. This will stop your growth. This is very important. You can love other human beings, and that is more important than even this. Of course, we should love each other deeply. That is what this life is entirely about. To love one another, to see each other in all of our glory, exactly as you are, as perfect gods and goddesses, as the great I Am. But if I care so much about what you think of me, I will never grow into what I'm supposed to be. And if I care so much about what you think I should or should not do, I will never find my destiny. I will never find and live out my dream. You must not become addicted to other human beings and what they think you should or should not do. You are God. You can create anything you wish to create through love and light. And if you are loving beings, you will never tamper with anybody else's dreams. You will never tell them what they can and cannot be. You will simply support them. And you will love them. And you will not let anyone else tamper with what you want to become. Through love all things are possible. And through love, this whole world is going to change. And through love, the light beings are returning. And through love, they're going to show us the way. And through love, all of those things that we did not know before are going to be manifest unto us. And through love, our dreams are going to come true. And through love, this planet Earth is going to become magnificent. And we are going to be reborn. She's going to be reborn in love. And in love, everything is possible. So I say, I love you. Every single one of you. I love the great I ams that you are. I love how different every one of us and our great I ams are. I love that we get to share this experience together. I love that I chose to come here. I love that I took the challenge. And I love that I get to see this world change into something magnificent. And I love that I get to do it with you. Oh.